Gilmore.
Well, Minister Gormley's version of how the decision was taken, which is now contradicted by the Taoiseach, I think demonstrates the dysfunctional way in which the government made the decision on the blanket bank guarantee. So it's probably no surprise, therefore, that given the uncertainty about how the decision was made, that the wrong decision was made. And there is now no doubt but that the decision to provide the kind of blanket guarantee that was included in that decision was a wrong decision, as was the government's strategy on NAMA, as was the government's neglect of jobs over the past 3 years, which has us in a situation that for the 18th successive month, the number of people out of work is over 400,000. And it's that succession of mismanagement, mistakes and bad judgment by the government that has us here today facing what has been described by many as the worst budget that the country has ever faced, which is to be announced in about an hour's time. Taoiseach, I'm concerned, and the Labour Party is concerned, that a decision, another bad decision by government, to take 6 billion out of the economy, to adjust the budget by 6 billion, is a dangerous strategy for this country, that it will damage our prospects for recovery.
Question, sir, please.
Yes, I'm coming to the question. Damage our prospects for recovery, halt growth and put jobs at risk. Taoiseach, do you have any concerns at all that 6 billion is a danger and poses a danger for the prospects of economic recovery and growth in this country?
Deputy Quinn. Deputy Gilmore, final supplementary, please. Could we have Deputy Gilmore without interruption, please?
If the Taoiseach and the government paid as much attention to what the Labour Party had to say over the last 3 years as you appear to be doing now, we wouldn't be in the hole and the mess that we're in now. If you had paid attention to what we had to say about employment at a much earlier stage of this crisis, you wouldn't have a situation where the numbers of people out of work have risen from 154,000 at the time of the last election to 425,000 now. And as for the 50,000 that you think have disappeared, they have disappeared. They're in Australia, they're in America, they're anywhere but here, anywhere that they can get a fresh start. If you had listened to the Labour Party about what has happened to the banks, if you'd listened to us on the 29th of September 2008, you wouldn't have the state tied to a declining banking system as you have now. And your attempt to say that, of course, if we didn't have the banking crisis, we'd have a manageable. Yes, we would have a much more manageable issue and a much more manageable problem in terms of the public finances. But as you well know, the 85 billion deal that you concluded, a bad deal that you concluded with the EU and the IMF, is tied hand and foot to the banks, and that is what has us in the situation. Now, the question I asked you, Taoiseach, which you avoided completely answering, was this. I'm concerned, and many independent commentators are concerned, that a 6 billion adjustment in the budget, which is to be announced later this afternoon, will do damage to the prospects for growth and recovery and for jobs in the Irish economy. And my question to you wasn't to send back to me or to sound back to me what Labour Party policies are. My question to you is, do you have any concerns? that a 6 billion adjustment will damage growth, will damage the prospects for jobs, and that we'll have more people taking flights to Australia?